Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that I got your attention with a title that many people are going to say, yeah, that's kind of obvious, stupid. Of course, to get stronger, you're going to have to get stronger. But here's the thing that we need to come around to. We talk a lot about strength potential, and the problem that we have, and what I've noticed with a lot of my audience, and this even applies to a lot of my clients, everything else, is that when we start talking about training and we talk about these different factors, people lose sight of the big picture, right? They lose sight of the big picture of how we gain strength, how we get stronger, how we do these things. And they'll look at a single dynamic of it. A big one, I say all the time, size equals strength potential. We have to throw that extra word in, right? Because when we say stuff like a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle, yeah, that's absolutely true. That is absolutely true 100% of the time. But individual muscles being stronger doesn't equal more overall strength. And I know that sounds a little bit confusing, doesn't it? Right? That sounds confusing. Because size equals strength is a different statement than a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. And when we start talking about the hypertrophy end, a lot of people say, oh, well, then that's the key. We just need to get really jacked. Yeah, that's a pretty important factor. Car guys will grasp this concept. Guys who mess with cars and engines. There's no replacement for displacement. Every car guy out there knows that expression. They understand exactly what it means. In other words, bigger displacement, bigger engine means larger cylinders. Larger cylinder volume. It's kind of like having a bigger muscle. Does it automatically mean you're going to have more horsepower? Right? Because isn't that the same thing? Strength and horsepower? Yep. Or we could argue torque. But I think there is a time component. Like one knows all the stuff we can do as long as we get more air and fuel in, and we could add boost and we can add nitrous. There's tons of stuff we can do that doesn't change displacement to get more horsepower. That's true. But if you have 30% more engine displacement, you're going to have a hell of a lot more strength potential no matter what else you do on the other end. You're going to have more potential for power. Muscle size is kind of the same way. Is it the only factor? No. But it gives you one hell of an advantage. Right? Just like a 7-liter engine probably has a lot more horsepower potential than a 4-liter engine, all other factors being equal. When all the other factors are equal, that 7-liter engine is going to have an enormously larger amount of horsepower potential. These factors aren't always equal, though, are they? Same with the human body. Let's come over to the point. A bigger individual muscle always has the ability to produce more force immediately with no learning curve. You hypertrophy your biceps 30%, they are going to produce tremendously more force when you contract that muscle maximally. The problem is that doesn't always translate into strength on movements. We need intramuscular coordination. If there's more than one muscle involved as the primary mover, which we don't test strength on a machine curl locked in or a leg extension to where you're strapped down with only one leg. That's not how we measure strength in anything. We measure against an object that you have to move, usually a barbell or something else. Whatever device we are lifting. Well, that's a different ballgame. That requires intramuscular coordination. Now we have all that strength potential. If we've done these other things, if we've gotten maximum hypertrophy, yeah, we've handled a big part of it. But we have to talk about the other end. And if I don't talk about each of these things, people will focus on one thing. If I only talk about the heavy lifting, people say, oh, well, hypertrophy doesn't matter. I don't need to do 5s or 10s or 15. I don't need to do any of it. I just need to lift heavy, right? I just get explosive if I do my speed work, okay? All of these things help you build strength potential. Right? Speed work puts size on you. Speed work teaches you to accelerate early in a movement. Affects rate coding. It affects rate coding. But here's the thing. Intramuscular coordination matters. Lifting with 80% of your 1 rep max will not teach you the intramuscular coordination to lift with 100%. It will not. If you want to get stronger, you are going to have to get stronger. You're going to have to get under some heavy ass weight. Now, what do we mean? Heavy is relative. Heavyweight above 90% of your max. In other words, if you can do 4 reps or 5 reps with a weight, it's not that heavy. I don't care how much it is. It's not heavy for you in that movement pattern. It's just not that heavy. It's not going to develop maximum strength or maximum force production. It just can't. And it's not going to teach you intramuscular coordination to do so. But working at 100% or even 95% on even a similar movement will carry over to whatever movement you're doing. You're going to have to lift some heavy weight. In other words, strength equals strength. Now, you got people who chime in, well, that's not my definition of strength. All right. You didn't create the English language. You don't get to define words. Okay, this isn't 1984 to where Big Brother gets to redefine the words every week in a manual. You don't get to pick what the word strength means. It is very defined characteristics in exercise science and strength and conditioning. Your opinion is not only irrelevant, but your opinion is ignorant and your opinion is shit. If you think that we measure strength with anything but a 1 rep max. Your opinion is garbage and it's uneducated and it's ignorant. How's that? Nobody cares what your stupid ass definition of the word is. Strength means the production of force against an external object that is best measured with a single repetition with maximum exertion against a defined weight. An object that we can move and see how much force you produce to move it. Okay? Can you move that object or not? Not can you do it 5 times, can you do it 37 times, can you do it 1,000,000 times? It's irrelevant. Can you move it or can't you? And if you can do it 37 times, you probably could have put another pound on it and done that, okay? I'm sure if you can do 37 reps with a weight, you probably could add at least another pound to that barbell and do a rep, I bet. Might even be able to add another 800 pounds to it. So until you do the single, we don't know what your force production is. And you know what? That's where intramuscular coordination matters, because that is a big part of the strength component. So you're going to have to lift some heavy weight to get stronger. The other stuff builds strength potential, right? These other factors build strength potential. They don't automatically make you significantly stronger. Got to lift heavy to do so. And it needs to be really heavy. We define as really heavy anything above 90% of your max. We're going to have to max out, guys. You're going to have to develop the skill of that. People say, well, why does it only matters for a powerlifting meet? No, it matters for sports. Come back over. What are you trying to build strength for? You're trying to build strength possibly for a whole host of things. Sport-specific things, maybe being able to survive an emergency situation. Strength is strength. And learning to move and use your intramuscular coordination to produce maximum force, not submaximal force, not 80%, not 85%, maximum force, 100% of what you have. Right, that is a skill that can be learned under implements in a barbell, and it will transfer. It will transfer to pulling the tree off the toddler that fell on top of them, or the burning car off the toddler one day in the emergency situation. It will transfer to you hitting a 300-pound lineman on the football field in the guts. It will transfer to grabbing and grappling and pulling another man as hard as you possibly can. Strength equals strength. It transfers to these things. There's a reason strength training matters in sports. Right? There's a reason a stronger man can pull the tree off of his girlfriend when it falls on her in the woods than a weaker man can. Because he's stronger. He can produce more force. And there is a learning skill component to it. And you're going to have to get stronger to get stronger. The other stuff gives us more strength potential. But it's not automatically going to make us stronger. It all has to work together. Alright guys, well that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.